Fall, winter, spring, summer, and wildfire. Welcome to Earth's blazing new 5th season. While you were busy arguing about pumpkin spice lattes, Mother Nature went ahead and completely rewrote the calendar. In the western United States, wildfire season is now 105 days longer than it was in the 1970s. That's more than 3 additional months of everything is literally on fire weather. The USDA Forest Service has thrown in the towel on calling it a fire season anymore. They're now operating on what they cheerfully call a fire year model, because nothing says progress like year-round existential dread. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about bigger fires or longer summers. These changes are creating a domino effect that's leading to bigger changes. On this episode of Natural Forces, we're about to dive into 5 ways the challenge of wildfires has gotten worse and more complicated. And trust me, some of these will blow your mind. Number 5, the rise of zombie fires, aka winter isn't safe anymore. Think winter gives you a break from fire season? Think again. Let me introduce you to your new nightmare, zombie fires. No, these aren't fires that shamble around groaning for brains, though honestly, that might be less terrifying than the reality.
Beneath the ground in Western Canada, dozens of so-called zombie fires that started last year are still burning.
Zombie fires, sometimes called ground or overwintering fires, are blazes that literally refuse to die. They stay alive throughout the entire winter, burning underground through peat, organic soil layers, root systems, and buried logs. Picture this. It's January. There's snow on the ground, and somewhere beneath your feet, fires are just chilling out, waiting for spring like the world's most patient arsonists. These underground burns can persist across winters, sometimes even multiple years, until the organic fuel is completely consumed. We're talking about fires that survive multiple winter seasons underground, then emerge in early spring like seasonal zombies ready to wreak havoc all over again. Winter fire carryover has become so common that fire management agencies are now tracking dozens of fires that survive entire seasons underground. It's like playing the world's worst game of whack-a-mole, except the moles are made of fire and they keep coming back. But if you think fires hiding underground all winter is crazy, wait until you see what they're doing to the actual ground itself. Number 4, wildfire soil alchemy, turning Earth into glass. Wildfires don't just destroy what's above ground, they're literally rewriting the chemistry of the earth beneath our feet. At their hottest, wildfires can alter the soil itself in ways that sound like science fiction. In some burn zones, minerals in the soil actually fuse into a thin, waxy, water-repellent layer that scientists call hydrophobic soil. And yes, it's exactly as problematic as it sounds. This layer repels water instead of absorbing it, so when the rains finally come, instead of soaking into the ground like normal, water just skims off the hardened surface and races downhill. The result? Catastrophic flooding and mudslides that can cause more destruction than the original fire.
This car sped down a narrow road trying to flee from a fast-moving river of mud and debris.
The 2018 Montecito debris flows are a perfect example of this deadly phenomenon. After the Thomas Fire burned through the area, heavy rains triggered catastrophic mudslides that killed 23 people. Homes that survived the flames were buried in debris moving at highway speeds. But here's the really insidious part. This isn't a temporary problem. Once soil becomes hydrophobic, it can stay that way for years, creating a feedback loop where fires become more frequent and more intense. The land literally becomes primed for its own destruction. It's like wildfires have figured out how to hack the ground itself, turning Earth's natural water absorption system into a slip and slide of disaster. But before we blame Mother Nature for all this chaos, let's talk about who's really lighting the match. Number 3, accidental human-caused ignitions. Here's a stat that'll make you question everything. Guess what percentage of wildfires are started by humans versus lightning strikes? If you guessed lightning is the main culprit behind our fire apocalypse, congratulations, you're spectacularly wrong. Humans cause approximately 85% of all wildfires in the United States. That's right, we're basically a nation of accidental arsonists. We're not talking about obvious stuff like campfires and cigarette butts, though those definitely make the list. Power lines spark fires when they get too hot or fall down. Cars with faulty exhaust systems turn into mobile flamethrowers. Even something as innocent as a gender reveal party has literally set entire forests ablaze because apparently pink or blue smoke isn't dramatic enough without adding catastrophic wildfire to the mix. However, while humans start way more fires, lightning-caused fires actually burn larger areas on average. It's like we're really good at starting the party, but nature knows how to throw the bigger bash. Lightning strikes in remote areas can burn for days before anyone even notices, while human-caused fires near populated areas get attacked by fire crews immediately. Number 2, the season breakers, when fire becomes year-round reality. Remember when fire season was actually a season? Those were simpler times. We now have regions where fire persists across multiple calendar years. Some areas have experienced unprecedented wildfire intensity with weeks to months of degraded air quality, where fine particulate matter, particles smaller than dust, exceeded dangerous health thresholds. In California, fire season often spans May through December, 8 months of sustained fire risk. Texas officials describe fire risk as year-round, with what used to be separate seasonal fire periods now merged into continuous elevated danger. Major fires now send smoke thousands of miles. In 2023, Canadian fires affected air from the U.S. Midwest to the Atlantic and Arctic. Canada provides perhaps the most dramatic transformation. During recent extreme fire seasons, Canadian boreal forests produced over 9 times the average carbon emissions, contributing to global totals exceeding 2.4 billion tons of carbon released from wildfires. But here's the most remarkable aspect. It's not just scale, it's continuity. Documented cases show fires persisting across multiple calendar years. We're seeing fire become not seasonal, but multi-seasonal, even multi-annual. The eastern United States isn't immune either. Even regions traditionally protected from major wildfires are experiencing earlier springs and extended fire seasons, driven by warming temperatures and shifting precipitation patterns. Number 1, the Great Groundwater Heist, how we're accidentally supercharging wildfires. Plot twist, the biggest threat to our forests isn't coming from above ground, it's what we're doing underneath it. Here's a connection that'll blow your mind. Humans are withdrawing approximately 1,000 cubic kilometers of groundwater each year globally, and net storage depletion is approximately 100 to 300 cubic kilometers per year. From 1993 to 2010, we removed about 2,150 cubic kilometers, enough to measurably shift Earth's rotation. In places where the water table is lowered, especially peatlands, landscapes become far more flammable. And across the West, warming-driven aridity has doubled the forest area burned since the 1980s. And here's the kicker. In the US alone, approximately 70% of the groundwater removal goes straight to irrigation. Now you might be thinking, cool story, bro, but what does my neighbor's sprinkler system have to do with massive wildfires? Everything, as it turns out. When groundwater levels drop, the scale of wildfires can literally explode. Scientists have discovered that fires can burn up to 10 times more land area during drought years than in normal years. But here's the twist. We're not just waiting around for natural droughts anymore. We're creating artificial ones by sucking the water table dry. Think of groundwater like nature's underground insurance policy. When surface water disappears, plants and trees tap into these deep reserves to stay alive and green. But when we drain those reserves faster than they can refill, we're essentially turning living forests into matchsticks. Those carbon-rich peatlands that formed over thousands of years. When the water table drops, they transform from natural fire breaks into perfect kindling. It's like we figured out how to pre-season the entire landscape for maximum flammability. The math is brutal. We're removing groundwater faster than it can be replenished, creating vast drying zones where underground water depletion sets up perfect conditions for extended fire seasons. We're not just dealing with fires burning above ground. We've accidentally built a hidden foundation for our new fire-dominated reality. As we pump more groundwater, build in fire-prone areas, and run more power lines through drought-stressed forests, we're not just creating the perfect conditions for fires to spread, we're also dramatically increasing the chances of starting them in the first place. It's the perfect storm of human engineering. We dry out the landscape, then accidentally light it on fire, then act surprised when everything burns down. We've basically turned ourselves into a wildfire ignition system with a 100% success rate. The expansion of fire season creates cascading effects. Recent wildfire seasons have kept air quality above unhealthy thresholds for over 150 days in some regions. Research reveals that wildfire smoke contributes to approximately 16,000 to 30,000 deaths annually in the U.S., with long-term exposure to smoke particles contributing to roughly 11,400 deaths from health complications per year. Efforts have been made around the world to curb harmful emissions of fine particulate matter, but wildfires are reversing those advances with serious health consequences. A recent report published in August 2025 by the University of Chicago's Air Quality Life Index, AQLI, identified air pollution as the greatest external threat to human life expectancy on the planet. As one of the authors of the report shared, more years of life expectancy are lost for the average person on the planet due to air pollution rather than from causes like maternal and child malnutrition, alcohol, or tobacco. The health effects are serious, with particles being so small that they go down into the lungs and then enter the bloodstream, which can lead to lung illnesses such as asthma. This also has been associated with strokes, cardiovascular disease, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. The economic toll caused by wildfires is also staggering. Recent years have seen record numbers of billion-dollar weather disasters, with wildfire-related damage contributing significantly to these totals. Home insurance companies are recalculating risk based on year-round fire seasons, with some pulling out of entire markets. Fire departments must now maintain peak readiness year-round instead of seasonally, straining budgets designed for traditional seasonal patterns. Emergency response systems built for predictable seasonal threats are being overwhelmed by continuous fire risk. Perhaps most concerning are the feedback loops being created. More fires release more carbon, which accelerates climate change, which creates conditions for even more extreme fire behavior and further groundwater depletion. The fifth season of wildfires is here, whether we acknowledge it or not. The question isn't whether we can stop these changes. The forces driving them are already set in motion. The question is how quickly we can adapt our thinking, communities, and lives to this new reality. Have you noticed changes in fire patterns where you live? Are you experiencing smoke earlier in the year or later than you used to? Drop your observations in the comments if you'd like to share. If this video opened your eyes to the reality of our changing world, hit that like button and subscribe for more science that explains natural forces and the unprecedented changes happening around us.